Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm your co-host, Julietta, the magical PT, here in sunny South Florida. As my name implies, I'm a PT, but people often forget I'm a PT because I do magic in my office. And that just means I work in a way that's different from all other PTs out there. And I incorporate not only, the musculoskeletal system of our body, but also our emotions, our spirit, and how that affects the physical body as well. And in addition to being a podcaster, I'm also an artist and a jeweler. And I'm passionate about traveling and wanting to get back to more traveling in this world. And as I always forget to say, but Allison always remembers, I'm originally a Midwesterner. I was raised up in Wisconsin and moved to Florida in 1994, so a long time ago. Feels like forever.
Mm-hmm. And I am Allison Mancini. I am a human resources manager and functional nutritionist. And I am passionate about helping women to be the best that they can be. And that is connected to all their nutrition. So it's so important. What you put into your body really does affect what you are able to do, the energy levels, what you put in is what comes out. So if you're going to put in, you know what, you're going to get out, you know what. But if you're going to put in good things, you're going to get good things out of it. So super passionate about that. I work for the Gold Digger Girl as human resources manager and nutritionist for them. And then I also do see clients privately. And I'm so sorry, my dog is chewing on his bone. Can you hear that?
That's what that sound is.
Oh, yes,
I thought he was barking. He's chewing on a bone.
That's scraping bone with teeth. Yes, that's lovely. A marrow bone. Thank you to my dog trainer, Dawn. She's awesome and told me about marrow bones. But anyways, I am also a Midwest girl at heart. Grew up in Michigan, north of Detroit, and I've been in Florida since 1993. So I beat you by 1 year, but that's it. 1 year. And I'm just excited to be here. We have an incredible guest, but first I need to tell everyone about our sponsor because we have a brand new sponsor for the month of March.
We do. I love our new sponsor.
I do too. Jewel Toned Interiors is an award-winning women-owned interior design company located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Fort Lauderdale Magazine named Jewel Toned Interiors the #1 interior designer in town. They transform lives by the creation of experiential interiors for all people. It's what drives them to produce environments that truly reflect the unique personality of each and every client they have the pleasure to work with. Imagine how a strategic work environment can positively impact your bottom line. It's proven to increase employee productivity and morale while making a lasting impression on customers and new hires. The jewel-toned interior gems come from a variety of backgrounds with experiences in many industries, from restaurants and retail to offices and multifamily housing. They are proud to be trusted with something as important as your vision, so let them bring it to life for you. It all starts with an idea, so let them help you consider the possibilities today. Discover more about jewel-toned interiors and what they're capable of at jeweltonedinteriors.com. We love Joy.
We do love Joy and her gems. And I love that they call them gems, especially me being the crystal gemstone addict over here. You can never have too many stones in your life. I wonder if, and we have to find this out, if they each have their, they're the gems, but is one the ruby and one the diamond?
I feel like they do. We're going to have to find that out. But I feel like I asked her that at one point, and I feel like that they might. But they do beautiful work, and they're just all wonderful women to work with. So
exactly. So, I was telling Allison about, I bought a house near downtown Fort Lauderdale 4 years ago now. I can't even believe I've been in this house for 4 years. But one of the things, moving into this neighborhood, this street that I have to go down every day, going to my house, coming to my office. I mean, I pass this tree every day. And I noticed it, right away when I moved into the neighborhood and just had this connection to this tree and loved on this tree. It was a giant banyan tree. And I just felt like it was like the overseer of the neighborhood. And it was, what gave the neighborhood its energy and its life. And about 2 weeks ago, I was actually driving to work before sunup, so it was still really dark outside. But I turned and looked at the tree and I was like, wait, what? They cut the tree down. I literally cried all the way to work that morning.
Well, that makes me sad.
I was like, what could possibly be more important than that tree right there? Like, why? And the difficult thing for me is it's this process too that they're going through. I don't know what they're doing. I'm so perplexed. Like, I wish I could find somebody working on it so I could stop and be like, what's happening here? Because then they completely uprooted what was left of the tree. It was on its side for a while. Now it's back upright. They've cut off pieces of it. For a moment when they uprooted it, I had this thought, like, are they going to go transplant what's left of this tree somewhere? I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing, but I feel like there's so little respect and there's so little left in city metropolitan areas of nature. Like, how I feel like they ripped out my heart when they tore this tree down.
Well, and I think the thing is, because you and I talk, because people are probably like, why on earth are they talking about a tree? But the reality is that nature is so important for us as human beings. We are connected. We need that connection. We need that grounding, that energy. For goodness sakes, they are what produce. I mean, let's go back to, I don't know, sixth grade science, right? Let's go back to the basics. They produce the oxygen we breathe. Like, they're super important to have. So it makes me sad. And I do notice that, I think that's unfortunately part of development. My husband's in underground construction, and I know that there are times where they have to take down trees because they get in the way of what's going on underground. You know what I mean? Like cables and drainage. And, I'm thinking maybe that's what happened, but I agree with you. It's still really sad. And I think I know what tree you're talking about. Was it down by on your street or off your street?
It's on 13th.
It's on 13th. Okay. Yeah, that's sad. I'm sorry. And it is so true, because I don't know, we talk about this too, but when because I sit behind a desk all day, which a lot of us do now, except for our lovely guest, who she's probably outside a lot, which I'm a little envious of that. But I have to get out and go walk outside, and I feel so much better just from a minute or two being outside and being under the trees and breathing in the fresh air and looking at the green and the blue sky. And well, thankfully we're in Florida, we see a lot of blue sky, but I think it's so important.
Yeah.
So that would make me sad too.
Anyway, speaking of our guest spending time outdoors, let's bring her on.
I agree.
Hey,
hello.
baby.
Oh, I love her background. That's awesome.
How are you?
Look at all those trees.
Look at the beautiful trees.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your tree.
Yeah.
It makes me sad. Yes, that is one of the things that I do love, is that my office is full of trees.
Yeah. So speaking of that, why don't you go ahead and share with our audience a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. My name is Greta Anderson. My name is Greta. So that's my name of my company, and my golf instructional practice is Dr. Greta Golf. I'm based in Metro Atlanta, Georgia, and I am here to serve. It's my passion, my great commitment and passion, and help people fall in love with the great game of golf. It's not as nerdy as people think, and it's a lot more healthful and fun than a lot of people think. So that's what I spend my days doing.
Yeah, I love, we're in Florida, so there's a lot of golf happening down here, as I'm sure you know. And sometimes I'm amazed. As a physical therapist, I have clients all the time that are golfers, because
Oh, yes. We visit
between the backs and the shoulders and the hips, I see it all. But the one thing that makes me really happy is, some of these people are are in their 80s and up, and they're still playing golf. So
Yes.
there's not a lot of sports that you can keep playing into your 80s. So it's a great game, and I don't play it, but we'll see. Maybe Greta will change that.
Yes. Right. Yes. No, it is a great sport. As I'd like to, help people see is that, I'll use myself as an example. I played tennis with my dad when I was probably until I was about 14 or 15. He kind of said, once you beat me, I'm done. Well, it's been a lot of years since we played tennis together, a lot of decades, but we still play golf together. It's part of my favorite foursome. And, we'll do that till the very end. You can't do that with any other sport.
Love it. Love it. You're muted or something, Allison. We can't hear you. Something's wrong. We can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes. Now.
Okay. Yay. So what I was going to say is that, and like Julietta said, down here in Florida, we do run into golf all the time. But what I really love about what you do, Greta, is that you are really passionate about helping adults, specifically women, because I find that, I'm going to just say it, I find it in South Florida that golf is like an old boys game club. Like they all do it for business and they go hang out and they do Friday afternoon golf, and the women are never included in that. And I think we do have friends. Remember Holly from our networking group, who she's like an avid golf, like she's in a whole women's league. And I was telling Greta before we got on live that I've been like, I started trying to play golf, but I really need lessons. But and because I know golf is something that I can play long term. Like I know I can still play when I'm in my 70s. So.
Absolutely. You absolutely can. It's quite therapeutic in many ways. Remember,
that's what I was surprised about. I was really surprised at that. And I think it's partially, like you said, being outside, being in nature. There's something just very, to me, almost meditative about golf, which was interesting. I didn't expect that.
Oh, yes. You'll find, throughout the day, the course of a day. But I find that, as a professional golfer, as a seasoned golfer, in the morning in particular, early morning, particularly, when the days are long, we've got lots of sunlight. You'll find early in the morning, those players that are out there, at dawn, it really is meditation. It's just quiet, peaceful time. We may, we'll speak, but we just know that we're just enjoying the time in nature, enjoying the game. And it's nothing like it. I mean, it's the best way to kick off a day that, I can think of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely my biggest struggle, especially down here in Florida, is, I do not like the heat. And so
she doesn't.
I'm like, we wake up here in the summertime and it's already 90 degrees outside. And I'm like, I do not want to be out here. So I need like air conditioned clothing. And
well, they make it all. They make it, hot clothing, cool clothing, but you sound like a morning golfer, an early morning golfer or evening. But probably morning. A quick 9 in the morning.
There you go.
That midday golfing will not be.
No. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't.
I don't play too much midday golf these days.
No.
It's too hot. No.
Yeah.
And the sun. We don't. We've got to be careful with the sun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just dive right into our questions. Sure. So, our first question for you is: what is one book that you wish every goddess would read, and why?
One book.
We know it's hard to pick one.
Yeah, there's a lot of books. I'm thinking of kind of going through. I think that was one of my favorites. I'm an avid reader, but still, I'm rereading it probably for the 5th time right now. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the reason I say that is because, yes, I'm in there. He's talking about, obviously, how if we follow our passion and we commit to it, we can realize riches in a variety of ways, including some material riches. But I think that the reason that I think that's such a powerful book is because as women, oftentimes we've been taught to tamper down our desire for riches of any fashion, whether that be career, I want to be at the top of the game, of my industry. I want to be the best at this. I want to be the best golfer. Sometimes it's not it's not encouraged by us to really want to be the best, whether that, like I said, whether that's financial gain or otherwise. And so just like in golf, I really try to help women loose themselves of these, if you will, shackles or this ceiling that's been placed upon us inadvertently. Do you unabashedly. And if that means you want to be the best golfer in your league or your company or in your family, hey, that's okay.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah. And also looking at the book, because what a classic it is,
Yes.
but not just taking it for the financial aspect
Exactly.
of it, but just success in general.
Exactly.
And,
Right.
Great book. Great book.
Well, I love that you said that you're like reading it for the 5th time, because we just had this conversation in another interview. I was talking about Bob Proctor, who's a well-known thought leader and just passed away. And he talks about, I was reading his most recent book, and actually he refers back to the book Think and Grow Rich, that was the catalyst book to his whole, like everything he does.
Yeah.
He started as a 20-year-old reading Think and Grow Rich. But he says he has read that book probably a dozen or more times in his life. I mean, probably more than that. He said he's read it so many times in his lifetime, because if you keep on reading that, you're just ingraining it more and more into your being, into your thought process, into everything you do.
Yes.
And it's so true. It's not just about the financial side. It's about everything. It's about just abundance. It's that abundance mindset.
Well said about the abundance mindset. Yes. And I tend to read it like I probably want to commit to reading it probably annually or so, but the reason I'm reading it right now is because I've decided to make some pivots and some recommitments in my business, and I kind of needed, my little paper cheerleader right there. But my copy, if you look at it, it's like it's dog and everything, but it goes everywhere. Yeah, it fits in the backpack perfectly, and I'm one of those people that I may have 30 minutes between lessons. Perfect. I can read a few pages because it's so energizing.
Right. So wait, I have to back up a minute, because you made a comment about you're kind of changing things. So we talk a lot about on this show how, first of all, you're never too old or you're never too young to do things differently, right? To change things up. So what are you doing? I mean, can you share with us?
Sure.
Okay, go.
Sure. It's, I've just really kind of taken a stand. I'm recommitted, and in terms of recommitting, obviously to myself, but also in the entire way that I run my business. I'm kind of niching down, if you will. It's not that I'm not teaching everyone, but really my priorities go to the early stage golfer, as I like to describe her. And so that means, whether that's my marketing, my instructional offerings, my scheduling, my individual versus group mix in my instruction programming, the whole bit, everything is, I double down on that. And so that means, I've had some conversations with some other players. They go like, well, you don't have time for this. And then I go like, it's not that I don't have time. I just had to prioritize this. So, sometimes, to win, you got to learn, it's got to make some changes. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So no secret there. I'm just doubling down on truly growing the game, because really for me, at the end of the day, I want to know that I've contributed substantially to changing the face of golf. I love golf. I love so many things about it. But the one thing that I really, very candidly, I'm very tired of, I'm tired of being, one of a handful of professionals that look like me. I'm tired of, when I walk onto the course, and it's not, anyone being negative or anything like that, but I'm surprised when I get up to the tee and swing it that, people are like, oh, like, wow, you can really play, because golf is not diverse yet.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, my hope is that, someone, Greta 4.0, that years down the road gets up on the tee, smacks it with the boys, and they just keep walking. Nobody's even thinking about the fact that, she's, she looks this way and she, right. It's just, it's just golfers.
I love that, because, it's one of the things. I work with a woman who does social media, and really she's all about helping women to do exactly what you're talking about, like really just showing up authentically and niching down and figuring out their avatar.
Yeah.
And she always says, if you're promoting to everybody, you're promoting to nobody. You've got to like niche down. And then what she said, what's interesting that starts to happen when you do that, when you get really specific on who you're going to work with, you still attract all the other people too. They still come to you, but now you're really focusing in on those people and you're able to really, you know, be productive and get done what you want to get done. So I think that's fantastic. And I love that you're like going to the, like, basically someone like me. You're really going to someone like me that does not, that's a woman older that doesn't know how to golf, but wants to learn how to golf. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you move to South Florida, please?
You know what? I was just in Tampa. I got back yesterday.
I was just in Tampa too. My son lives over there.
Okay. And it was, and I was telling, you know, it was there with, had the privilege of working on a big project with 6 other pros. And we were sitting there, we were sitting outside and we were having lunch. And I said, you know what? You know, one of them she lives in Florida. And I said, you know, I might have to start thinking about this wintering in Florida. And she would say, yeah, I told you. I was like,
it is kind of nice in the winter. It's the summer that's brutal, but winters are nice.
Summer I can come on up, but we'll talk.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. We'll talk. Yeah.
All right. So next question is, what is your top self-care practice and how does it support you and what you do?
Oh boy. Let me tell you. I love body care. Man, if I had an endless checkbook, I would stay on the massage table. That would be my first great hire. Like, I'd kind of be like Tom Brady. Like, I'd have them living in the guest house.
Yeah. That, for me, it's a chef and a masseuse. That would work.
That's the tandem. Yeah. That's the tandem. If I had to choose, I can cook. I'm a pretty good cook, but I'm not good with, you know, it's hard to rub myself as well as it is when, you know, the professionals do it. So that would be my choice.
I'm with you on that. I would be all about that. Julietta just had an amazing massage.
I had a massage yesterday afternoon. It was fantastic. Like,
they're the best.
I have a girl,
and I can work on myself, and it is not the same as when you have someone else work on you.
And you've got the skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend actually who, for as long as I've known her, and I've known her since our boys were like 5, so 20 years, she gets a regular massage every other week. And she's like, that is one thing she will not compromise on. And she's been through financial ups and downs and life ups and downs. She's like, that is my one go-to that I have to do all the time. So
yeah, I need to adopt that because it makes me feel so much better. And I just, when they're on the calendar, I just so look forward to them. It just feels good. And, you know, my job is a good one, but I do use this body pretty hard. So yeah.
That's something I preach all day, every day. You know, we think nothing of doing all the maintenance that our cars need and our houses need, but our bodies, we never do that preventative care. We only go seek out help once it's broken down and then fix me.
Right.
It's much easier to prevent injuries and problems than it is to fix them after they happen. So and I do love my practice. I'm very fortunate that the people that get what I do, they get that it's important to maintain themselves. So many of my customers, they come when they're injured, but then once we fix them, they have this aha moment and this realization that I should take care of my body before it breaks down. And I do have a lot of regulars that are, some of them are on my table weekly that I love and that amazes me, but more often than not, monthly. And that's a good choice too. So.
Yeah, it's depending on what's available to people. Absolutely.
All right, we got to keep moving with our questions here. So our next question is, because we all have those days that are just, it's hard to show up and get stuff done. But when you're having one of those days, Greta, what tool do you pull out of your back pocket to get things done?
I pull out, this is going to sound kind of wonky. I just pull out the tool of gratitude. I mean, for me, I'm just always very humbled when I think I don't have to go back very far. I can think about my parents, I mean, who are still with me and doing great. I mean, they're retired avid golfers now, but I think about them. I think about my grandparents and how hard, I mean, not smart. I mean, they worked smart, but they had to work hard to change the trajectory of our family so that their granddaughter could be sitting here, granddaughter could be sitting here teaching golf. So when I think about, oh, I don't feel like doing this or that, I don't feel like going to quite teach this class, I go like, okay, I'm going to teach a golf class at a really nice facility. People really put it in so that I could have choices. My father has always said that, like, my mission in life was to give my children choices. And, so I have choices. So gratitude snaps me out of that funk, and I'm like this. Let's go play golf.
Nice.
I think that's amazing, because I think so often, in being that I have children that are in their 20s, and my kids are fairly good about it, but there is this mentality of a lot of these young people that this woe is me kind of attitude. You know what I mean? Like, and you look at it, we are so fortunate. My kids live a very privileged life. I mean, way better than I did. I mean, I came from a single mom north of Detroit that worked her tail off, and we barely made it by week to week. Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think gratitude is a great way. And we talk about that a lot, how important gratitude is. I practice it every day. I journal every day, and I write down gratitude. But I think that's a great thing to do when you're having just that day where, like you said, you just don't feel like, stepping up. Think about all the people and all the things that have made it possible to be where you are.
Yeah.
That'll make you move your butt.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I mean, sometimes you go like, Greta, check yourself. Like, really? Like, really? Like, and kind of, so, it happens, right? We were humans, right? It happens, but that usually kind of snaps me out. And that may be, no day is, some days are less perfect than others, right? But that's okay. But go there, and as I always say, my goal every day is to exert excellence and effort. It may not be perfect, but if I can, if I can exert excellence and effort, it'll be as close to perfect as I can get.
Absolutely. All right. Question number 4, Greta, is obviously every experience that we have in some way or form shapes who we are. But if there's one big experience in your life that really formed who you are today, what is that experience?
One big one, just one? Wow. Oh boy. Let's think. I think, and that's not, not one moment in time. I think the experience of, again, I talked about my family because I'm very close to my family, and I feel like I get so much of who I am from them and that type of thing. But my maternal grandmother, her name is Ella. Of course, she's since passed on. But many people say that I'm like her in many ways. In fact, sometimes I'll say something and my mother will even say, "Okay, Ella, I'm so much like her." That's my mother's, my mother's mother. And but at the time together, I had the great fortune of having her in my life until I was 35 years old. She's the first phone number I learned, and I talked to her every day of my life for 35 years, every day. And she taught me about being quiet. I mean, she was, a great woman, a simple woman, not much education, hardworking, but the most loving spirit you'll ever want to meet. So really, that overall experience, like I said, there's many, many thousands of days I've, had the privilege of spending time with her. But the experience of being with her has taught me about, peacefulness, quiet, and just being just there for people. And so if that's a satisfactory answer, but I think that's the kind of the greatest experience I've had. I mean, I still think she's on the mantle in my great room there, of all the photos, and she's still the matriarch out in front of everyone because that's who she is. But her loving spirit, and just we could sit for hours in total silence.
I love that, because so many people are so uncomfortable in the silence.
Exactly.
And I treasure silence. I love moments of silence. And And I also loved your story talking about your grandma. I was very close to my mom's mom as well, and hearing you talk about your mom just like reconnected with me with my mom, my
Yeah,
grandma as
she was
well.
great. She was
And yeah, so much. She definitely, both my mom and my grandma
Mhm.
greatly formed who I am today. But yeah, like thank you for that moment. It just brought
Thank
me
you.
back to my grandma too.
Well, and I think that's a lost thing now. At least for me, my extended family did not live close by because my dad was moving, doing the corporate thing. And so I find there's so much less time that you're together with your extended family. I mean, my kids are actually really fortunate. My husband's parents have always been close to us, but my parents were not. But I think it's one of those things where we forget how much we really can learn from those that have come before us. And I don't know, I've had these conversations with other people. It's like, we here in the United States do not treat our elderly the same as they do in other countries.
No.
And it's kind of a shame. It's, and I absolutely love that you speak of your grandmother in that way. And I think what an incredible experience and opportunity that you had to have that time with her, and for so long. Because
I know.
That's because my grandparents were gone when I was in my teens and 20s, like they were. So yeah,
what
that's really,
what a privilege. I remember, the day she was funeralized, and of course, this is my mother's mother, and and my mother is one of her youngest, one of the youngest, and of course, a sad day. And I remember we were getting in the funeral car, and my mother, she was upset, and I said, but we've got to think of it this way, Mom. How many people have had their mom this long? I mean, and my grandmother was mothering until the end. I mean, she was, just there. I mean, literally. But I mean, even her transition was reflective of her, peaceful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're muted again, Allison, talking, and that's okay. But time is flying here. We gotta move on. So our final question for you, Greta, is if there is one thing that you want our audience to take away from this show today, what is that?
I want you to take away that, as a person, as a woman, there is really nothing you can't do. And pivoting is a great thing. I mean, life, God willing, life is long. And if we just stayed on the same line, it probably wouldn't work out to your full satisfaction. So know that pivoting is a part of life. I mean, we've been talking just for a short while here. We've had great conversation. But if I told you about all the pivots in my life, you would be like, how in the heck did you end up as a golf professional? I mean, I've done a lot of things, and I doubt that I'm done pivoting. But that's what makes life rich, fulfilling. And as you evolve as a person, as a woman, as a goddess, right? You've got to pivot.
And thank you for saying that, because I'm the same. I'm one of those people that has done numerous different things in my life. And I held a lot of, not guilt or anything, but just bad feelings about that. And I just came to the realization a couple of years ago that that is exactly what has made me who I am and why I needed to do all those things. And I probably will pivot more too. So I'm good with it now.
Exactly.
Keep on pivoting.
Keep on pivoting.
Awesome. Well, this has been such a fun interview today, Greta. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. And we want to thank our sponsor, Jewel Toned Interiors. If you're looking to increase the beauty of your physical space that you habitate or work in, please reach out to them. They are amazing designers. And thank you to our audience for listening. We could not be here without you. And if you like what you've heard today, please subscribe, follow, like, share, comment. We're looking for some reviews. People, we'd love for you to review our show. And if you'd like to be on the show, you can go to our website and fill out the form on our website, and we will get you on the show, because we feel that every goddess out there has an important message to share that someone needs to hear. And
show notes.
Oh, yes. And if you'd like to get in touch with Greta, our golf expert here, or Allison or myself, check out the show notes. You can find all our social media and how to get in touch with us in the show notes. And with that, I want to wish everybody a magical day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.